Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another live stream Tuesday. Thank you everybody for being in the chat room so early on tonight, before the live stream even started, and also for the action in the super chat window. This already happened and gone on, so we'll get to that in a second. But let me get all of you guys up on screen, because in the live chat room tonight we have Jen and Phil Liam, or Phil and Linda, Lucy Mark, Linda again, Patrick, Alexi, Rockchick81, Debbie, Scott, Ginger Duran, John. Hello guys, thank you for joining me tonight. And without further ado, let's get the names of my patrons up on screen, because these people make this whole thing possible and every single video that I do on the channel possible as well. So a massive thank you to these people at the bottom of the screen. You know who you are. And we are going to be jumping straight into the super chat window, because we have had 3 donations really early on. So thank you guys so much for that. We have Susan and Dennis in the house. Hello guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. And they donated $10. Thank you so much for that. The message is, when Dennis was young, he had a chihuahua that howled when he played his harmonica and guitar. Do you think that frequencies hurt their ears, or can dogs really sing? Any theories? So thank you for that, Susan and Dennis. And the theories, I guess, it's not really a theory, I don't think, because frequencies happen and notes happen. It's just whether you can hear it yourself or not. And an interesting thing to do, if you've got access to any recording software, anything like that, and you can get to play white noise at different frequencies, you can then play that white noise at a particular frequency and keep on increasing that frequency so the note gets higher and higher and higher, and you can tell when you can't hear it anymore, but the note is still going on. It's a really interesting thing to do. So you'll find that once you get into the 10,000s, maybe the 15,000 hertz, and actually being able to hear that frequency, it might totally disappear. But it's because you can't hear it, that note is still there. It's still happening. For people that might have very young ears and they can hear at a higher frequency, because that reduces with age, and also with damage to the eardrum, all that kind of stuff, you lose a lot of those high frequencies that you can hear. So with young people, but then especially dogs, they can hear at ridiculous frequencies. I can't put a number on it because I don't know, but I know that they hear things very high up. So it probably was the case that the dogs could hear it, and sometimes they'll be able to hear things that we can't hear, but there is a note going on. So anyway, I'm not sure really about theories or dogs singing. I'm sure that they can howl, and I don't know whether they're hitting notes themselves that they're trying to hit, and that is them singing. So a theory on that I don't really have, but it is an interesting test to put your ears through to see which level you can actually hear up to frequency wise, and then when that note disappears, because the note isn't disappearing, it's just your hearing that can't decipher there's a note up that high. But anyway, thank you guys so much for that donation. And Gary is in the house as well and has donated $10. Thank you so much for that, Gary. And that is just a straight up donation, so no comment or question with that. And Carla has donated $9.99 as well, so thank you so much for that, Carla. And everybody say a massive hello to the moderators tonight, keeping everything just running smoothly in the live chat room. Thank you guys so much for doing everything that you do on these live streams. And Laurie's in the house as well. I can just see her name going through the screen. So hello Laurie, and Carla as well. Thank you for moderating tonight. And just while we're on that subject, if you guys want to check out the guidelines, those have been given a fresh lick of paint by me over the weekend, just making it look a little bit better, a little bit more organized, so you guys can head over to that page if you want to, and that's at wingsofpegasus.com. And if you go to the live stream heading, you'll be able to find it all listed in there. But that's just guidelines for the live streams if you want them. And we are going to be moving into the first video of the night tonight. And this is going to be my video of Don't Cry. It's my song as well. and it features my sister, and this was requested by Kevin over on Patreon. Thank you guys again for answering my requests over on Patreon, because it gives me videos to play in these live streams. And this video is being played tonight for Kevin, but also just a bit of information that my sister has been studying for a degree and managed to get a first in her degree. So a massive congratulations to her, especially considering that there are 3 nephews that I have, or 3 children that she has, who are 3 boys, and they would have been running around the whole time while she's trying to study. So congratulations to her. I did leave the house earlier to go to her house, so I've already said that in person, but just to have it on record here, not that she's going to see it, because she'll be in bed by now, probably asleep. But anyway, just to mention that you'll be able to see her in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'm going to be in the chat room while this is playing, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Go around thinking of her 1,000 times when you think you see her face in the crowd. Now she's gone, no way of ever knowing. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Cry for me, don't cry. Don't cry for me, don't
And there we have it. That was my song called Don't Cry, and you can pick that up over at wingsofpegasus.com/store if you want to, as well as the album that it's from called Persistence, which is my album obviously, and it's also on iTunes and Amazon, but the website is the best place for me because it means that I don't have to give a percentage away. So anyway, getting the super chat window up on screen, I think during that video we had a little bit of the circle of death, and I don't know why that happened. I think it's just maybe the internet or YouTube keeping us on our toes, just trying to throw a little gremlin in there, but fingers crossed we're going to be able to get away with it for the live stream tonight. Maybe it won't happen, but hopefully we'll be okay, so we will see. But let's get into the super chat window because we've had a little bit more action in there. First of all, Marge has donated $2. Thank you for that, Marge. And the message is, thank you, moderators. So thank you for that, Marge. And also, Canadian Clay has donated $5. So thank you so much for that. And the message is, what up from New Brunswick. So thank you for that. And we're going to have another one that's just come in. And this is Mr. Deeds11, who has donated $49.99. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Deeds. And the message is, hello Phil, just a quick note of thanks for making your channel so diverse and entertaining, and most importantly fun. Cheers with a thumbs up. So thank you for that. And we've had another donation, and this is from Clive Fast, so thank you for that, for £5. And the message with that has been deleted, just to let you guys in on what's been going on. Unfortunately, over on the Wings of Pegasus supporters group, somebody hacked into that, pretending to be me, and made up a profile, took my profile picture, called it my name, and then gained access to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group, changed the heading to something a little bit more offensive than that, and also messed around with that and deleted everybody from it. And it was Clive Fast who has claimed to have done that, and that is who the last donation came in from. So that's why the message has been deleted by Carla. So thank you so much, moderators, again, and Carla, for keeping everything in order. And like I've said before, if people have got that much time to make up a fake profile and go on the supporters group on Facebook and delete everybody and block everybody, then they've just got too much time. And if they spent that time doing something constructive, they could actually get somewhere, because they've obviously got the ability to focus their mind on a task. So I don't know why they would focus their mind on something like that, but it's just the way that the world is, unfortunately. But thank you so much for all of your work, moderators. And we've had another donation from Lucy. Thank you for this, Lucy. And it is for $4.99. And the message is, Danette wants to know the background about Don't Cry. Also for the new joining as well. Thanks. And thank you for that, Lucy. And Danette is going to be on the show a little bit later on, because I've been over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group, which isn't called that at the moment, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it will return to that very soon. And I have a picture that we're going to be showing a little bit later on. I think it is going to be a mug and t-shirt combo. And just while I remember, because I always forget these things, here is the Spike the Likes mug, which you'll be able to see from Danette a little bit later on, but you can pick this up in the tray underneath this video if you want to. And if you can hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated, because we try to get to 200 likes in these live streams. Underneath this video you can pick up a t-shirt and a hoodie and a mug if you want to. But thank you so much for that, Lucy. And I'm going to have to scroll up just to make sure I don't miss anything, because I want to answer the question that was in there. And it's the background about Don't Cry. And this was just something that is more of thinking about what somebody would say who has moved on. And I'm sure some people would be able to understand it from a particular point of view when somebody does move on and they look back at the people who might be grieving and they say don't cry. It's along those kind of lines. I'm sure everybody can understand that point of view and those kind of things that it does refer to. So that was what that song was written about, or at least the message, the idea, the angle of it. So thank you for that, Lucy and Danette, for that question. Jen has donated $2. Thank you so much for that, Jen. The message is, how many sales on Amazon? With a inquisitive face. And this is something that I don't honestly know. I don't keep track of any of my sales, and that goes for the CDs that I send out. I know that I've got a lot of them to send out at the moment. The first batch have been sent off because of the lightning in the quarantine and everything that's going on at the moment. I think social distancing is still something that we're doing here, and having to wear a mask if you are going out on public transport, but I think everyone wears a mask when they go outside anyway. But anyway, yes, that first that first batch has been sent off, but I don't keep a track. I just do it and just go through the process of sending off CDs, and the sales on Amazon and iTunes and through the website. The iTunes and Amazon go to TuneCore because they look after everything, and they look after the publishing of my songs as well. So it all just gets lumped into there, and I don't really check how much is in there, how much money I've got from revenue. I just let it happen, and then if I do log in, then it's just a bonus. I'm not really into counting how much. I know that, as you guys have heard me say before, that I had 16,000 streams on Spotify. So that was pretty good, but I got £12 from that. So that works out as, I don't know, $20, just under $20 for 16,000 streams. So that's why I thought I'm going to take my stuff off Spotify, and it's a lot better for me if people pay 79p for a song. And if they do that 16,000 times, then that's fantastic, because it means now I can start to do music full time rather than having 16,000 streams and maybe being able to buy a pizza, and sometimes not even that, with the same amount of streams. If I can sell my music, it's so much better because I own all of the rights to it. But anyway, so I don't know is the honest answer. I don't know how many streams or sales I've had on Amazon, but thank you, Jen, for that donation. And Wild Bill has donated $2. Thank you for that, Wild Bill 56. And there's no message with that, a straight up donation. And Deborah has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Deborah. The message is, great song. I just bought my first Tanglewood TW2 acoustic guitar. Thanks for answering my question the other day on the subject. So, great news, and I hope that it serves you well and you do get some fretboard time in just as much as possible. But the most important thing when you are practicing is to practice little and often. And when I say little, I mean in manageable time slots. So, for example, 10 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time, and come back to it regularly, but don't just beast it for an hour or 2 hours, because it's just the way that the brain works. If you want to learn something, well, the quickest way possible, you learn a bit and then you have time away, because while you're away from it, your brain processes what you've just learned and then comes back to it having processed everything, and then you can learn a little bit more, and that's how you want to approach it. Also, it's better for your fingers if they are sensitive to begin with. You can lighten the strings. I think on an acoustic guitar, if you're just starting out, start with 10s. That's what I get all of my students who play acoustic guitar to do, especially if they do want to practice a lot, because it's a lot lighter on the fingertips and they need to stagger the practice. Because if you do beast it for an hour or 2 hours in a row, it means that you'll probably start to get really sensitive fingers and it won't be very nice, but your fingertips will harden up after time. Anyway, thank you so much everybody for tuning in tonight, and quick look into the live chat room. We've got Barbara in there, KO DJs in the house. We got Phil Liam, I'm still saying Philium, and Heather, Lynn, Carl, Darla, Thais and Michelle, and DM's in there as well. There's another donation, but I haven't got to that one yet. And Canadian Clay, hello guys, thanks for tuning in. And let's get into the donations again, because there have been a few more. And I'm going to have to scroll up quite a way here. Thank you guys so much. Kevin has donated $2. Thank you for that, Kevin. And the message is, what is Sister's degree? And this is in psychology. It's child psychology. It's part of the sciences. I know that much. It's well above my head in terms of what is, it's for teaching, basically, to be a teaching assistant or somebody to teach young children, you need to have this degree, but also the degree in the sciences, and that is what she's got. So it's really complicated stuff. As I said, well above my head, because I know about music stuff. I don't know about psychology and the sciences. I know about sports psychology because I did that at university, but all of that extra complicated stuff, child psychology, is a totally different ballgame, because that is such a complicated... You might think that you know how your mind works and how other people's mind works, or minds work, but then thinking about how a kid's mind works is complicated stuff. So it is in that area, but I'm sure there's a fancy name for it, but I don't know what that fancy name is. So thank you for that, Kevin. And Christian has donated $1.99. Thank you for that. And the message is thumbs up. Thanks for you being you. So thank you for that, Christian. And Carl has donated. We all know what this is for. The donation is for $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, yeah, hopefully people know what it's for. Cena collab sometime soon. It's great. Stay healthy, everyone. So thank you for that, Carl. And that is for the Cross the Pond Fund, in case we have any new people joining us in the live stream tonight. So thank you guys. If you are joining us for the first time, hello. And I've just noticed that because we had that loading screen, everything on my screen has stopped, but the donations have come in and the super chat room is up on screen. So I don't know why that is. Let me just give this a refresh. Everything's going to go weird on the screen. Fingers crossed this is going to work. And it's going to go to... Hopefully, yes, it looks like the super chat is back. So hopefully the live chat room is going to be working as well. I don't know if it's going to be moving from now on, but fingers crossed it is. So thank you for that, Carl. And with the Cena collaboration, that is something that I can play in the future, so we can get that on the live stream at some point. But thank you for that. And Thais has donated 10, and this is Brazilian real, or real, or reais, I think is how they say it in Brazil. So thank you for that. And I'm not sure how to say Thais or whether it's a Thais. We will see. I'll have to work on that. I'll ask somebody who I know who is Brazilian to let me know how that is pronounced. But thank you for that donation. And the message is, my currency does not have much value in your country, but I'm donating because I love your channel. Your analysis makes me learn more about music and also unknown bands from this side of America, with a smiley face. So thank you for that message and the donation. And underneath that, Orlando is in the house and has donated 10 times $5. So thank you so much for that. And it's $50 if you didn't do that maths. I almost just said the wrong amount. So thank you for that, Orlando. The message is just $50 donation, by the way, just to clear that up. Thank you so much, Orlando. The message is, thank you for your recent analysis of Sly and the Family Stone. Sly Stone really threw away his career. If I throw some reality into the mix, to this day, Sly still struggles professionally and legally. Oh, and spike the lights with some rock horns. So thank you for that, Orlando. And that is the thing that I did edit into last night's video about the whole court case that's going on. He received no royalties from 1989 onwards, which is just crazy to think of. Every time one of the songs might be played, that he didn't get anything for that. And yeah, we'll see how that court case works out. But also, unfortunately, when drugs do get involved, it is such a tough thing to see the back of and to rid yourself of. And yeah, unfortunately, Sly fell into that and did struggle and might still be struggling, especially, I think, with the royalties. It's something that when you do get involved with, obviously, record labels, I mention it on this channel all the time, about keeping the rights to your music is so important. And unfortunately, most of the artists that you know and you love have signed over the rights to their music to the record label. So when it gets played on the radio, they're not making any money anymore. And once they don't make money from their music, how are they going to make money? They've got to go and get a normal job and just work at a supermarket or something. But if they're well known, it is so awkward to then try and get a job at a supermarket because they'll say, well, why are you working here? Because you're Sly Stone. So yeah, it is a real shame, but hopefully, fingers crossed, things will work itself out in the courtroom. I think personally, as an artist myself, that the courts should be able to see that back in the day there were so many dodgy contracts, and they're still happening. It wasn't just back in the day, it is now as well, where the record label get as much as they can from the artist and they get them to sign over the rights to their own songs, the publishing rights and the royalties for every single song that is played. But anyway, thank you Orlando so much for that donation, and there have been a few more underneath that, so I want to make sure I don't miss any. Wild Bill 56 has donated again. This is $2. Thank you for that, Bill. And the message is, hi Phil, sorry I missed your last live chat. So no problem, don't worry about it, Bill. As long as you're here now, that's all that matters. So thank you for that donation. And Abby has donated $7. So thank you so much for that. And Abby says, are you familiar with bioacoustics? It uses sound frequencies to diagnose and treat just about anything. And it's not something that I've looked into. If it is some kind of health treatment or something, I do not know. So that is the answer to that. Thank you, Thank you, Abby. And I almost said Dabby because we all know what's happened there. My brain sometimes takes the first letter of the next word or name and puts it at the beginning. So apologies for that, Abby. I did stop myself, so I didn't say it, but then I just exposed myself by explaining what I was about to say. But thank you, Abby, for that donation and the question. And Lucy has donated again, $24.99. Thank you so much for that. The message is, before I forget, for the usual Cross the Pond Fund and Family Norway Trip Fund with some rock, heart and some peace. And no trolls and gremlins allowed. So thank you for that, Lucy. And DM has donated $1.99. Thank you for that. And the message is, we are all just British islands in the stream. So thank you for that. And a nice little reference there. And I did get a question about that in the comment section where somebody said, what does islands in the stream mean? And I thought it was pretty much self-explanatory as to being islands in the stream being solid and going against the flow of that stream and the current, I guess it's called, but just staying solid against the current. But that's a question that I had, so it's interesting that we linked in there somehow, mentally DM linked into that. But thank you for that donation and a nice little play on that lyrical content. So Mary has donated $5 as well. Thank you so much for that, Mary. And the message is, Phil, I am so glad to hear your sister is not only alive, but thriving. One doesn't like to ask. I was worried. So thank you for that, Mary. And that's it. Yeah. The Don't Cry video that I made was purely just something that I do all the videos myself and edit them together, but that was quite a while ago. So I just needed some footage to put together with me playing the song, because I thought it's just going to be boring to watch if it's just me playing the song. So I just filmed my sister for an evening, and it was out in the garden. She didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know that she was going to be in one of my videos, but I just needed some extra footage, and that's what I used. So thank you for that, Mary. And Marilyn's in the house as well and has donated $5. Thank you for that, Marilyn. The message is, hi Phil, thank you for being here with a heart. Is it better to put your money in the guitar or an amp? And I would say pretty much, unless you're playing live and you're playing relatively big venues, you won't need anything other than just a practice amp, just a solid Line 6 practice amp. Fender do a great practice amp as well. And anything around 20 or 30 watts is probably more than enough for just practicing at home. So it's probably better to put the money in the guitar. If you've played a guitar and you like the feel of a particular guitar and it's a little bit more expensive, then I'd say put a little bit more money into the guitar. But that's pretty much the first port of call, because you're pretty much not going to start playing the guitar, learning how to play, and instantly have to play at a big venue. And generally, when you do get to properly big venues, they mic up your amp anyway, and then it's put through the house PA. And if they're a big venue, then that PA will give you a lot more volume than you can get from your amp. So then the volume of your amp isn't as important. But certainly, just if you're practicing learning to play, you don't need a big amp at all. Like I said, 20 watts, 30 watts. My amp, for example, I've got a 30 watt practice amp, and that's a Roland. And I've also got, I think it's a 30 watt Fender amp as well for practicing. And my actual proper amp that I use live is 150 watts. So that is a lot louder. So that'll pretty much fill most venues that you go to. And when you're getting to the super big venues, then you don't need to go any louder really than 150 watts because, as I said, the PA will mic that up. So anyway, it'll be mic'd up by the PA, and then the guy behind the mixing desk and the whole technician team at a big venue, you get a lot of people dealing with the lights and the sound. They'll be able to whop up your volume if it's needed from the desk. But anyway, let's not get too complicated. Thank you so much for that, Marilyn. And Ginger Duran has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, hi Phil, a little something for the Cross the Pond Fund with a smiley face. So thank you for that. And there's been another one. There's been a few donations. Thank you, guys. Laura has donated $10. Thank you for that. The message is, okay, I know you don't like to talk about your hair, but it looks great. And I caught a quick sight of myself before the live stream started when I was testing everything. And for some reason, don't ask me why, we've got a bit of extra volume going on. I don't know. It just seems to be a volume hair day. Sometimes I do have days where my hair just gets bigger for some reason. I don't know why. It's not even that hot today, and that's usually why it happens if I start getting very hot. If I'm playing my guitar and singing and doing lots of jumping around, then my hair tends to get bigger and bigger, but it's just about manageable. Hopefully at the moment I might have to have a check on it again to make sure it's not looking totally ridiculous. But thank you for that, Laura. And Karen's in the house and has donated $5. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, hi Phil, I can relate to your song Don't Cry. Yes, I get a bit teary, but I'm reminded that I have to move on. Thanks for all you do. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen, and thank you for the kind words about the song. And no problem, it's absolutely fine. Thank you for the kind words. This is just what I do on the channel, just live streaming, analysis videos, music videos. It's just something that I would be doing anyway. It's just great that you guys are joining me on these live streams, but also in the comment section of the videos, because it's great to interact with you guys live, but also in that comment section. So before I forget, if you get a chance to hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated, because we're trying to get to 200 likes on this live stream. And thank you all of you who have done it in the past and are hitting that thumbs up as we speak, because you guys are so reliable week after week. We pretty much always get to 200. So thank you guys so much for that. Lisa has donated $5, but also above that, Jen has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, vid for your long list of request sticks, Return to Paradise 97, and a list choice. All the songs performed are stellar with some rock horns. So thank you for that, Jen. And sticks are somewhere here on the channel, but I'll make a note of that and stick it on the list as well. Thank you, Lisa, for that $5 donation as well. The message is, have you heard about protesters in Liverpool wanting to rename the street Penny Lane because it might have racist connections? That isn't something that I've heard, and it's not really something that I can comment on because I haven't read into it, whether it's true or not, or the reasons for it. So I haven't heard about that. So thank you, Lisa, for the donation and for that question. And Wild Bill has donated $10 again. Thank you for that, Bill. And the message isn't coming up on this screen, but I can catch it on this screen. And the message is, for food or whatever, enjoy the channel from the USA. So thank you for that. And I think that will probably be used for whatever rather than food, because I've been eating too much pizza recently. I have to really try and stop doing this, but you guys obviously give me a great excuse because I can say, well, I was told to do it. I have to buy food with the donations, but I will try to relent, or I will try to resist getting pizza. So thank you for that, Bill. And TeacherMan1955 has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. The message is maybe something I'll have to catch over on this screen. And it says, hi Phil, spike the likes, great idea. I loved your analysis of Aha, especially watching you watch yourself play rock with some rock horns and a hand and some guitars. So thank you for that, TeacherMan1955. And yeah, that was certainly a long process to go through, just uploading that video 3 times in all. I think that one performance, obviously there's only one version of it now that's on YouTube because the other 2 got blocked, but it was something that I wasn't going to give up with. And I think also being part Norwegian and Aha being Norwegian, it was something that I had to get up on the channel by hook or by crook. But we did eventually get it on the channel, and it wasn't by hook or by crook, it was just doing a cover and taking out the video element. That was the problem. I think it was just the TV company were blocking it on my videos, which is a shame, but that's just the way it goes. But thank you so much for that donation. And Vince is in the house and has donated $5. Thank you for that, Vince. I'm going to have to catch the comment over here, and it says, Phil, a question from Sex Addict in the live chat just now. Phil, what kind of pedals do you use? And reading out that question, I thought it was going to be something totally different. So the pedals that I use are all in my, well, the pedals that I use aren't really pedals per se, because some people use Boss pedals. I don't. I just use effectively a triggering pedal from line 6 in order to trigger the effects that I have in my amp head. I was going to say the head of the amp, but just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the top section of the amp above the cabinet, it's small, but it's got all of these settings on there for the effects that I might want to use. And then I trigger those with my pedal setup. So it's all part of the amp. And I've got pretty much a basic setup. I've got a clean sound, I've got a crunchy sound, I've then got a heavy sound, and those are all for rhythm. And then I've got my lead sound as well, and I can pretty much control most of that on the floorboard that I've bought for it. And I've got an ABCD channel, and the volume pedal on that same system, the unit that I'm using as my pedal board, has got the volume pedal which doubles as a wah-wah. So it means that I can flip between that if I want to live. If I suddenly want to go to that wah-wah lead sound, that I can do. If I want to go there for rhythm, same thing applies. So everything is stored in my head of the amp. So it means that when I gigged, and sometimes I'm sure everybody that's been in band for any length of time, some venues you have to get down a really tight flight of stairs. It's a nightmare when you've got loads of gear. So I just made that transition into having all of those amps stored in my amp. So it means I don't need to bring pedals along. I don't need to have a whole separate case made for the pedals, and also plugging in all of your pedals. It is a really simple and quite an easy, well, is a quite an easy solution for the problem that I had with getting the right sound. And the Line 6 Spider 3 HD 150, just to give you the exact name of the amp if you want that, just in case, that's what I use. So it was a good solution for me personally, just to, when I'm singing as well, it just made it easier just to have everything sorted in a nice small unit for my feet, so that I could sing and play and change without having to worry too much about having a big pedal board and potentially missing pedals, because sometimes you get them that are horizontally, whereas this is just a square. So it's got A, B, C, D above all of the banks. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about here if you don't play guitar, but hopefully some of you do, that I have A, B, C, and D separate pedals which respond to banks in the head of the amp, and it's in a square. So it means that I'm a lot more likely to be able to hit that pedal than if it's horizontally laid out, because when it's really far away from you and you're singing and you look down, if you have to look down and look across, then you can start to miss things. Anyway, I hope that isn't too confusing, but thank you, Vince, for that. And thank you for responding to the question, or giving me the question to respond to, from another username in that live chat room. And Orlando has donated $10 again. Thank you so much for that, Orlando. We will be getting into the videos, I promise, in a second. But the question here is from Jennifer Sun, and the message from Orlando says, question from Jennifer Sun: what is your opinion on pro drummers not wearing ear protection during live performances? She is concerned about Handsome Harry of Marty Stewart's band. Let me just move that. Yes, that's what it said. So, personally, I would always wear earplugs. And it might be the case that you can't see the earplugs because the ones that I have sit inside my ears and just have a Perspex grip that come out of them, so you wouldn't be able to see me wearing earplugs now because of my hair. But I think if I had short hair, you'd be tough, or you'd be hard pressed to notice that I did have earplugs in. So a lot of drummers probably do wear earplugs that you can't see. A lot of other drummers actually wear headphones because they have a click track as well that they need to listen to, but that just gives you that extra barrier of protection. Some of the frequencies that go on when you hit a crash, the hi-hat consistently, those are the frequencies that are going to really affect your hearing at that high frequency level. So something that personally I would always wear, and I always wear live. And the main reason that I started wearing them was because I was stood next to the crash cymbal, or at least one of them, and the drummer was hitting that throughout our whole gig, and then I really couldn't hear anything after that gig. And for the next day, my ears were ringing the whole time. So I thought, right, that is the one time that I'm going to not wear earplugs, and from every other gig forward, I'm going to wear earplugs. So I would wear them all the time if you're drumming live, just to save your hearing, because a lot of young people really don't understand how serious it is. But thank you for that, Orlando. And Karen has donated again $2, and I can't see the message here, and I can't see the message over here either. So I'm going to have to drag down. Hopefully this is going to work, and move that a bit. So thank you for this, Karen, the $2 donation. The message is, hi Phil, glad you didn't turn into a pizza. Laugh out loud, Karen. So thank you for that. Not quite yet, but maybe it will happen in the future. So we're going to be jumping into the next video of the night. It's almost 1:45 here in the morning, and we haven't even got to the cover video yet. So thank you for this request. It is Behind Blue Eyes that we're going to jump into. This is Laurie, who has asked for this over on Patreon. I'll see you guys after this. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be in the live chat room as always. Rock!
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My
Hello, Phil here. Thank you so much for watching my cover of Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. I hope you enjoyed it. The names that you can see going up the screen here are the names of my patrons, who I'd like to say a massive thank you to for their support and for making videos like this possible, and for making all my videos possible on YouTube. So thank you guys, your support is massively appreciated. If you want to join me and the gang over on Patreon, head to the link below, the little square link, click on that and that will take you through to the site. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock! So that was my version of Behind Blue Eyes, and also just to mention about at the end there when I'm saying about getting on Patreon, let me put the link up on screen because I say just click on the box below, but of course that video is taken from YouTube, so there's nothing there, but that is the address hopefully on the site, patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, if you guys want to get involved yourselves and have your name going along the bottom of the screen during these live streams as well. So let me get that off the screen and get the super chat window back on the screen, hopefully. So we've had a little bit more action in here, so thank you guys for that. And Kevin has donated $2. Thank you for that, Kevin. The message is, Phil, is that a new guitar next to the drums? So I'm gonna have to try and look. Okay, so relatively new, but that is my dad's guitar, and I think he's probably put it there on purpose to try and get one of his guitars a little bit of airtime on the live streams. And sometimes Mario's guitars are in the background, but I haven't noticed that he's popped one there in the background. So I'm not sure when he got that. It was probably a recent purchase, maybe about a year old, if that. So yes, it is a new guitar, but not one that I'm going to be playing myself. And yes, it is a PRS, by the way. But I have, is that my Fender next to the PRS? In fact, I think he's put both of his guitars in the background. Unbelievable, and thank you for drawing my attention to that. So I'll have to have a word about that. I've got, maybe if I can move over to the side, aha, he's put mine on the wall. Unbelievable. So thank you for that, Kevin. And Linda has donated $5. Thank you for that, Linda. The message is, do you have a collection of riffs and or song ideas saved for the future? If so, how do you capture and organize them to recall later? Thank you for that, Linda. And I record them on my phone. I pretty much get an app, a voice recording app. I think pretty much every phone comes with one of those. But if my phone doesn't have one, then I just get a voice recorder app so that when I'm playing the guitar, I just pop it on top of the amp. If I am writing or if I've played a particular riff that I want to remember, I just press record and just get it down like that. So then I end up having lots of riffs saved on my phone. The only problem is my last phone then crashed and I lost everything, which was a bit of a pain, and there were lots of riffs on that. But I think when I play a riff that I really like, I remember it because I tend to go back to it and just work on it a little bit by bit. But that's how I go about it. Thank you for that, Linda. And Jen has donated $2, so thank you for that, Jen. And that's just a smiley face with lots of hearts. So thank you. Also, King Nero, who has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, hi Phil, here is a donation for that beautiful rendition of one of my favourite Who songs. So thank you for those kind words, and I'm glad that you did enjoy that. And here we go. Kevin has jumped in with a $2 donation. Thank you for that, Kevin. The message is, Phil, it's Father's Day this Sunday. Laugh out loud with some rock horns. So thank you for that, Kevin. And I'm not sure if the Father's Day in the USA corresponds to the Father's Day in the UK. I'll have to check that, but maybe that's why, maybe that's the reason that we're just looking at his guitars for tonight. But thank you for that, Kevin. And we are going to be jumping into the next video. And actually, before we do that, I just remembered about Danette's t-shirt and mugshot that we haven't seen yet. So we're going to try and get this up on screen. I have to go somewhere different in order to do this, but thank you, Danette, for uploading this to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. And I know it still has a dodgy name as the group page, but hopefully that'll get sorted soon. Fingers crossed that Danette appears on screen. And here she is. So we have not only the t-shirt but the mug as well. So thank you for that, for not only taking the picture but just buying the mug and the t-shirt. It is massively appreciated. And if you guys want to get your hands on the same t-shirt and the same mug, you can find it underneath this video that you're watching. It should be in the tray under this video, so you can go there. There's also hoodies there if you want to. But thank you, Danette, for uploading that picture, and also for allowing me to steal it and show it on this live stream. It's always great to have a look at you guys rather than watching me the whole time. We are going to be jumping into my song called Unwanted Stranger, again requested over on Patreon, and this was Abby and Carla and Lisa as well. It was requested a few times, so thank you guys for that. I'm going to be in the live chat room while this is playing, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Told me something about you that I didn't want to know. Look me right in the eye and then you placed your head on my shoulder. This position that you put me in, you're on a mission to take my world from around me. Wide awake, I worry my brain. Turn over, turn over, turn over. Anticipating, girl, come on, make up your mind. The night of passion became a nightmare. When the flood arrived, I realized what a fool I've been. You don't even know me, so how could you love me? Let alone care for this someone a stranger. Forget about the life that I dreamed of. Turn over, turn over, turn over. Waiting, anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind. Repercussions and consequences. Should've known better. Wish I never met her. True to the letter, I'll never forget her. Waiting, anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind.
And there we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. There's a sudden end to that song. As you can tell, I just ripped the jack out of the guitar. And that's the last song on the album as well, called Persistence. So it just seemed like a nice way to end the whole album, just literally yanking out the jack. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. We are going to have a little look into the live chat room to see who's in the house there. We have King Nero, Jennifer, Lewis or Louis, I'm never sure about that S, and then Shake Your Guitar Tutorials as well, Barbara, Gail, and BB, Alexi, Lisa, Kevin, Voodoo Mojo as well, Darla, Lynn, and Kitka. Thank you guys so much. Susan and Dennis still in there as well. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are going to get a little bit of super chat action going on here because there has been a couple more donations, and let me scroll down a little bit. I think it was Kevin that we did get up to. Yes, so Kevin was saying about Father's Day this Sunday. Thank you for that, Kevin. That was $2, but also Orlando has jumped in with a $2 donation, and the message is D drop C tuning the same as drop C? So to try and explain this, if you know what drop D tuning is, it means that your guitar is in standard tuning, so you then take your low E string down a step, so you take it down 2 notes, which means then you can play bar chords. Obviously it's going to give a heavier sound because your lowest string is now a D, so you can play bar chords just by placing your finger across those 3 frets, or the 3 strings on the same fret, so you don't have to spread across 3 frets. When you normally do a bar chord, that's what you have to do. So when you're talking about D drop C, it means that your guitar is now detuned to D, so your high E string is down to a D, which means that you're now, as a whole tuning on your guitar, you're down a whole step. You've gone down 2 notes. So it's going to sound pretty heavy, and we're talking about heavy genres of music here, and getting those really low notes on that low E string. If you're now tuned to D, which is already low, you can take your low, what would be the E string, all the way down, because now it's already at D, you take it all the way down to C, which means that you're going down another 2 notes, so it is like an even lower version of drop D. All the same things apply, but now all of your strings are even lower, and it means that your low E string, rather than starting on E, you've gone from the E to the E flat to the D to the D flat to the C. So you start to get a bit of an appreciation as to how low the note is, and if you're playing your guitar in that tuning, you'll notice that bends become a lot easier and there's a lot more wobbling going on, because obviously there's not as much tension on the string because of the note that we're now detuned to. So hopefully that explains it, that you understand that drop or D drop C, first you're tuning your whole guitar to D, and then you're not the chord D, I'm talking about every string down a step, so 2 notes, and then your low E string you take down to C. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do play guitar, hopefully you know about the tuning and tuning your guitar, and it does make sense. But Orlando, thank you for that. And Empress Mermaid has just donated $2. Thank you for that. The message is just swimming by to say hello. So thank you for that, Empress Mermaid, and everybody in that live chat room. Empress Mermaid hasn't been here for a while, so a big hello to you and thank you for joining us tonight. So we are going to be jumping into, it's just 1 a.m. So before I forget, if we can get a spike of the likes, that'd be massively appreciated. It helps this channel to grow and these live streams to get out there, and also to attract more people to the channel. Just on that, I think we've now passed 138,000 subscribers. It might be 139,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for hitting that subscribe button and the like button, and for commenting and for joining me on these live streams. And just, we have had another donation coming in from Linda, so thank you for that, Linda. The message, or the donation, is for $5. The message is, did you record multiple takes when you played with the Aha video in order to get the close-ups of your hands? And no, I didn't. I just zoomed in. So on Final Cut Pro 10, this is what I use to edit. You've got a transition. I think it's not the transitions, it's transposing or something, but you can zoom in I know that you go to scale on the top right, and then if you drag the scale to the right, it makes it bigger. So then when you're in that part of the screen, it's then making a particular part of the screen bigger, and that's what I did. And then you can just organize as to which section of the screen you want to have bigger. So that's all I did. So nothing fancy, unfortunately, not multiple takes. I think because I had done the same song, this was technically the fourth time that I'd done it, because we did the acoustic arrangement previously where I went through that. But because I was so familiar with the progression, it wasn't something that I had to do multiple takes on because I knew where it was going. And yeah, same thing with all of that. And then the solo at the end, I just kept the camera rolling and zoomed in for that as well, so that maybe people can see what I'm doing if you do play guitar yourself and you want to try and just suss out what's going on or the shapes that I'm using, then hopefully you guys could see that as well. So nothing fancy, no multiple takes, just me zooming in. And I should know what this is. Transform? Is that what it's called? I think it's called transform. When you click on the scale and you can move it around and make it bigger and smaller and transform the screen. So I think that's what it is. I get so confused with all of these different... I don't know the terms, but I know how to do what I'm thinking of. That's the level to which I've got my video editing. So thank you for that, Linda. And Christine is in the house and has just donated $10, and that is a straight up donation without any question or comment on there. So thank you for that, Christine. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to keep this stream going. We all know that after 1 a.m. here in the UK, things tend to go a little bit downhill from the perspective of Gremlins. So we'll see if we can keep everything going. I did just see a comment that was saying, what is spike the likes? And spiking the likes is to get a spike in the likes. I've just said exactly what the words are, not explaining it. So when you're looking at a graph of the likes over time, if the live stream lasts for an hour and there's a new like that happens regularly, the graph is just flat. Whereas when you get a spike of the likes, if a lot of people hit that like button at the same time, you get a spike in the likes. And that's what I'm referring to, the like graph, if you were to draw it out for the whole live stream. So that's why it's something that we call spiking the likes, because when lots of people do it at the same time, you do get a spike in the graph. So thank you for that. And I'm not sure whether that was something that was put in there. Hopefully that wasn't something I imagined in the live chat room. I'm sure it did go through there, but thank you so much for the donation as well from Lisa. That is $5, and the message was starting to wonder if Aha were your cousins or something, because you really hung on with that video. I saw all of them. So thank you for that, Lisa. I think when there is a video that's blocked, I almost have now a mission to get this video on the channel, because there's so much information in it that I think there are so many other videos on YouTube that do breach the fair use law and are so clearly not fair use. So when something gets blocked, that I know that any judge, when they're looking at the channel and fair use, would be able to see that the videos are fair use. There's so much in there from a playing perspective, even showing the chords of the live performance, relating particular things such as when you had the failure of the in-ear system, explaining something about that video. So it's a shame that we couldn't see the video, but there are often other channels who don't get blocked. So I feel like, well, if mine's getting blocked, I'm going to make sure there is a way that I can get all of this information up on the channel, and I really see it as my mission to then get that done, to have that request put up on YouTube, because all of the videos that I do are requests from people saying, oh, can you please look at this performance in 2005 by Aha. So when I then do that video and it gets blocked, it means that that person's request isn't even on the channel anywhere. So I want to make sure that it is represented in some shape or form on the channel. And it's also funny when you see channels who do a quote of the fair use law before their video. And for me, that is almost an admission of guilt that what you're doing isn't actually fair use, because you're having to quote the law before you're doing it. If it is fair use, then there's no question. You shouldn't have to quote the law. And people also think that by saying something's fair use, that it then is automatically fair use. That you can't do that. A judge decides whether it is fair use. So you can't say that it is on your channel or your video, because it's not something you can decide whether it is that or not. So that's something that I find interesting about other channels that do that. But anyway, moving forward, let's not get into that whole debate. And we've had another donation, so thank you guys for this. And Kenneth has donated $15. Thank you for that. The message is, do you have a favorite guitarist, and thanks for all the work you put into your videos? So if I'm having to think, I can't really pick out one. I always cite Jimi Hendrix as the player that I heard first and started to learn to play because of what I heard, and then got into so many other guitarists after that. So I'd probably have to cite Jimi Hendrix as the most inspirational, because he's the one that actually got me into playing in the first place. So if I had to choose, and if I was really forced to under extreme circumstances, that's probably what I would say and who I would go for. But there are so many amazing guitarists for so many different reasons. It just so happened that that was the first that really did influence me. Jimmy just overall the sound and made me want to play. But anyway, thank you so much for that, Kenneth. And there is also another donation from Orlando. Thank you for this, and that is for $5. The message is it better hitting the thumbs up button during the live stream as opposed to after? And I'm not sure it really matters, but if you can do it during, then that's great as well. Maybe doing it during the live stream means it counts more as interaction. I don't know whether live or after, so I don't know the answer to that. But thank you, Orlando, for hitting that thumbs up, and everybody for hitting that thumbs up as well, because it looks like we have passed 200 likes. So you can still hit that thumbs up if you want to make that number even more impressive. But thank you, Orlando. And Vince has donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Vince. The message is, Phil, a question from Chrysler O'Harami in the live chat just now. Guitar playing feels stagnant as of late. Any suggestions? ? So I'm not sure that there's anything that people can do that is going to be different playing the guitar, because guitar has been around for so long. So many people have found so many ways of playing it, to the point where people play with their hands, they play with it horizontal on their laps, they also play it just standard way. You can play it left-handed, right-handed, you can tap. You can also play acoustic guitar, striking the body of the guitar, getting percussive elements in there, tapping on chords, also using the tuning pegs to change the pitch. There's so much that you can do on the guitar that has already been done. Doing something totally different that's going to sound good is such a difficult thing to do. My only advice would be, play the guitar so that you can express yourself musically and artistically, because that's all anyone has ever done. And that's why some people play it a different way to other people, and also why there can't be a best guitarist, because there are so many different ways of playing it. But if you just play the guitar the way you want to, then that is the ultimate goal. That is what everybody is aiming for, to be able to work on all of their techniques to a point where they play and they think, yes, that's what I'm trying to capture, and that's what I want to sound like. So that is all I would say. And by default, if everybody is going down their own avenue, it's going to make guitar playing interesting, because everyone is going to sound different. They're going to have a different expression on the guitar, and that's what it is all about. So thank you for that message, Chrysler, and also Vince. And Debbie has donated $4.99. Thank you so much for that, Debbie. And that is a straight up donation without a message. But let's jump into the last video of the night. We're going to be wrapping this up soon. It's already gone past 1:10 a.m. here. So we're going to be jumping into the live double take version of Amelia. I think I always explain this at the beginning, but I record myself twice in order to do this acoustic version of the song. But thank you guys for requesting this over on Patreon. It was Lynn, Debbie, and Terry, I believe. So I'll see you guys after this. I hope you enjoy it. Rock! Alright, Phil here, Wings of Pegasus, and I had a little bit of spare time, so I thought I'd whip down an acoustic version of a track called Amelia, which will be on the album once it comes out. Now I've decided to sit on the squeakiest chair ever. Hopefully that won't affect it too much. Now the idea that I've got in my head is to play along like a version now, and then play along to that version afterwards, and then hopefully sort of sync it up somehow. But it should work. In my head, I think it's going to be fine. So let's see.
Imagine if I told you all the things that I never took the time to tell. Even if I told you, you wouldn't understand that you and I is lost forever. Under all this emptiness, each time I try to get inside, you're running my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you leave me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. They say that time is a healer. I don't believe what they say. I'm broken anyway. Ever since we parted, all this pain has started. It's never ending. Under all this emptiness, each time I try to get inside, you're running my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Don't tell me you love me when you're sorry. It's not enough. Ooh, no. Only this time I woke and broke and free. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, 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 Amelia.
Cheers. And there we have it. That was my acoustic version of Amelia, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Just jumping into the super chat window, like I said, we're going to have to call this to a close very soon, but we have had a donation or two here. So Debbie has donated $4.99 and then also $1.99 after that. So thank you for that, Debbie. And another donation from Vince for $5. Thank you for that, Vince. The question or the comment is another question from Chrysler O'Hara in the live chat. what do you think of jam tracks on YouTube? And this is something that I was just about to mention about the previous question as well from Vince and Chrysler. We have lots of jam tracks that are available on YouTube, of course, and you can practice over the top of those. What I tend to do is just set one off, and then a playlist might start, or do I click on a playlist? I can't remember. Generally, it will have one backing track followed by another backing track, and it's just good, I think, to let them go on, especially if you've got a lot of time. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to play along to backing tracks, but I might whip one on now and again, and it's also great practice just to get backing tracks going and turn off your computer screen and just jam along with it and play along and get a feel to where progressions go. And I mean, especially the blues, I think you know where it's going to go, but there are some tracks that come up that are a little bit more progressive, so it's great to get into the vibe of musically how things progress, so then you can start to understand where the most likely chord change is going to be, and you can sometimes just follow along with it. So it's a really good tool, I think, playing along with backing tracks, especially when you don't know what key it is or which chord is going to be changed to next. But also, that point that we had earlier about playing becoming stagnant, I'm not sure whether that was just something being said about the industry or the playing as a whole, or whether it was a more personal thing about practicing and not knowing where to go with your own playing. What I would suggest personally is, what kind of style do you want to learn how to play? What kind of player would you like to add to your arsenal in terms of what players' lines or kind of tricks, riffs would you like to add to your own playing? Because the first port of call that I would throw in there is probably chromaticism, which is throwing in each note and applying this to, for example, pentatonic shape 1, and start playing every note of, say, well, if we're on the high E string, you're stretching from your first finger to your little finger, throw in your first, your second, your third, and your little finger, and that is playing every single note, and that's what we refer to as chromaticism. And try throwing that in, just throwing in semitones and seeing how that sounds. Also, experiment with, I know this is going to sound a little bit more jazz, and it's depending on what you want to sound like. Obviously, if you want to get into sounding a little bit more funky, then you can start throwing in more rhythmic aspects with the right hand and muting the strings. But throwing in, for example, on the high E string, again, just in pentatonic shape 1, you can apply this, just sliding into your first pentatonic note with your first finger. And it sounds really simple, but just throw that in on your high E string, on your B string as well. So rather than starting in your pentatonic shape 1 position, slide from the semitone beneath your position into position, and just do that slide. Just repeat it a few times, and you start to get a feel as to what it sounds like to slide into your shape rather than starting on the note of your minor pentatonic shape. And it will start to sound jazzy, and it will give it that flavour to it, especially once you start throwing in the chromaticism of throwing in all of these semitones, all of these notes followed in straight away from each other. And you can start to experiment just in that one shape. And once you've experimented in that shape, then do it with the extended shape, the same pentatonic shape but extended, and just throw it in there as well. But I think a lot of people do know pentatonic shape 1, so it's a great place to start. And you can then blend that together with the blues scale, and you'll find that it's all within the shape if you just stay to that and just mess around with it. But just sliding into your shape is a great way of getting it to sound different. And that goes for all of the notes of that pentatonic. Just do a semitone slide into the note that you would normally jump straight to. Have a little slide into it, and you'll be amazed at how different it sounds when you're playing through it. But thank you so much for that previous question, and also the following question, and Vince for drawing attention to those questions. But we have had a few more donations, and this is, I'm gonna have to scroll up. I think this has gone wrong on my screen, or maybe just lots have come in. So thank you everyone for these donations. I think this is something that's just happened where I've got lots of donations. It is, so thank you for that. I was looking for Vince, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And Teacherman1955 has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, Phil, congratulations to your sister with lots of rock horns with rock. So thank you for that. And this is why I thought that it's popped all the way up, because of that message. But it is a recent donation. Thank you for that. And Christine has donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Christine. And Yayoi has donated $10. Thank you so much for that. The message is, which one was your first heavy metal or hard rock band concert you went to, and how old were you? And this, I think, was The Darkness. So a band that we have here in the UK. I'm not sure how well known they are over in the USA. But I must have been in my teenage years, I think. I'm not sure exactly what age I was. But then when I got a little bit older, late teens, early 20s, that's when I was into the whole Def Leppard, Whitesnake, who I went to watch. Also, Rat were in there, Winger. So yeah, classic 80s bands, hard rock bands. And those are the bands that I went to watch. But it was The Darkness that I saw first. So thank you for that. And Orlando has donated again, $2. Thank you, Orlando. The message is, Amelia reminds me of, you are always on my mind. So thank you for that. And Lynn is in the house and has donated $50. Thank you so much for that, Lynn. The message is, thanks, moderators, and hello in the future to Mario. So this is now a hello to Mario, who might be watching it in the future. So, hello Mario, if you're watching this on catch up, and if you want to, you can say hello to Mario in the future. This will be the first time we've ever done it, but thank you, Lynn, for that donation and the message. And Debbie has donated $1.99. Thank you for that, Debbie. And the message has just disappeared, so I'm going to have to scroll up. The message is, will you let Dad come play a riff for Father's Day? And I think he would be much too embarrassed to play a riff in front of all of you, and he would maybe want to work on something, I don't know. But on the live streams, unfortunately, he's well in bed by now. It's almost 1:30 in the morning, so he'd have to take a night off or have a very late night in order to do it. So I don't think that's going to happen in the future, but maybe he can record one and send it in, and then we can show it potentially. And then it's all your fault because you have requested it. So thank you, Debbie, for that. Deborah has donated $9.99. Thank you for that. The message is, you're a one-man show, smiley face. How have you ever done a analysis of the Canadian rock group Alias, or maybe a cover song? So I haven't done that yet, or a cover song is something that I can add to the list for the future. Thank you for that, Deborah. And Rin is in the house and has donated $20. Thank you for that, Rin. The message is, love that song, Phil. So thank you for the kind words. And Stephen has donated $4. Thank you for that, Stephen. And it is the guy with his cup of what looks like wine or summer fruits or something like that. So thank you for that, Stephen. And Carla has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Carla, and for moderating tonight with Laurie. And thank you guys so much. I haven't seen Neil in there, but also thank you for Neil on the moderating side of things in the past. And Lockmeister has donated $5 as well. There's no message with that, but thank you for that, Lockmeister. And Vince has donated $5. So thank you for that, Vince. And the message is, there's a TV advert we have here where a couple say they have a rat problem in their home. It turns out that Rat is headbanging in their kitchen. So thank you for that, Vince. Unfortunately, we haven't got that advert here. That's one of the adverts that I would like to see. Maybe it is available on YouTube or something. But yeah, that's certainly a good use of their band name. But thank you for that, Vince, having just mentioned myself that I went to see Rat when I was younger. So thank you for that. We will be calling this live stream to an end now. It is almost 1:30 in the morning here in the UK. So I'm going to say a massive thank you to you guys in the live chat room, everybody for joining me tonight. We've got Thomas in there, Lynn, Rebel Rose, and Jennifer, Laurie. Neil is in the house. So hello, Neil. Thank you for moderating tonight with Laurie and Carla. And we have Doug in there, Voodoo Mojo, Dan, Lewis, Karen, Jennifer, Barbara, Chrysler's in there as well. Thank you, Lynn and Teacherman1955. Orlando has just donated so quickly. Just before we say goodbye, Orlando has donated $2 and the message is, we know the darkness very well in the US. So great, you know the band that I'm talking about. So thank you, Orlando, for that. We are going to be calling it to an end now. Thank you guys for all of your support in these live streams. All of you guys over on Patreon as well at the bottom of the screen. You guys in the super chat window for your much appreciated and crazy donations, but it really does help this channel to keep on at full speed with a new video every single night, which I've been able to do for over 2 years now. So thank you guys for all of your support and making that possible, not only in the super chat window, but you guys over on Patreon as well. It is massively appreciated. I'm going to be here the same time, same place on Saturday night for live stream Saturday, and I'm going to be doing a new analysis video every night until Saturday, and then we go live again. So if I don't see you live on Saturday night, then I'll see you in the comment section of the analysis videos. Everybody, please stay safe and just keep self-isolating with the whole COVID thing that's going on. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll catch up with you guys on Saturday night, where hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have another almost gremlin-free evening like we have had tonight. There was a little spell where we weren't quite loading, but then we got over it. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, and I'll see you at the same time, same place on Saturday night, and in the comment section of the analysis videos every single night until then. So I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully this will be a smooth sign out. Catch you later. Rock!